What's up guys, welcome back. Today I wanted to discuss the governor's elections for 2022 and fill in a prediction. So let's just get to it. There are a lot of very safe Republican states like Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina and Ohio. Mike DeWine is an incumbent Republican governor in Ohio and maybe he was threatened in the primary, but he's going to win the general quite easily. New Hampshire, Vermont, Iowa, South Dakota, Nebraska, Wyoming, Idaho, and then I think that you can also put Alaska in that column. I'm quite sure you can. And Texas and Florida could be likely, they could be safe. I'm going to trust the polls and say it's lying at about 9 points win for DeSantis and a bit more for Abbott. I'm just going to make it likely because, well, for some people likely is everything under 15 points. Anyways, let's go on to the Democratic safe states. So you have California, Hawaii, let's see, you have not a lot actually. I actually think that Illinois is a safe state for the Democrat, and the Colorado. The Republicans are just gonna crash and burn in both of these states. I mean, they could really put up a good candidate and make it close, especially in Illinois where they won the governorship as late as in 2014, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So you have Minnesota, which is likely, New York is likely, same thing in Massachusetts, Maryland and Rhode Island. Rhode Island is maybe safe actually. And you can argue that many of these others are safe too, but if you look at the ratings by Sabato, Cook, everyone, they are not. But Massachusetts and Maryland are either likely or lean Democrats, which might be surprising to many, but I'm just going to stick with it. And then you have the more competitive ones. We can start by putting in Kansas. I think Kansas is leaning to be a Republican pickup. The GOP candidate, who I believe is the Attorney General in Kansas, he is doing okay, but he's not like doing extremely well. It's not a 2010 Arkansas Senate election where the Republican challenger is definitely going to win by at least 20 points. But it looks like he's pretty much going to win. And another very probable Republican pickup is in Wisconsin. Of course, we don't know who the candidate is going to be yet. Maybe Cleafish, maybe Tim Michaels, who was endorsed by Trump. So yeah, we will wait and see about that. Going on, I think I'm going to put Arizona as a lean for the Republicans. Katie Hobbs, I mean, maybe she won in a Democratic wave year, but she's not going to do so in a Republican wave year. Carol Lake is maybe a bit controversial, but she's not controversial enough to really turn off those independents, especially in a year where the economy is really going to matter a lot more than issues that the Democrats care about. And then let's move on. I believe Michigan is still leaning to the Democrats. Many have it as a toss-up, but yeah, I would have to see more proof that Tudor Dixon can make it close before I will do something like that. Connecticut, yeah, I'm going to do a small change now. Okay, that's better. I do like the color yellow for the toss-ups, so I just made that little change. Okay, the next one I think I'm going to is the state of Georgia. As you know, Georgia was sort of a upset, not because Brian Kemp won, just because he won by such a big margin, much bigger than expected. And it was certainly a disappointment for Trump and the Trump-aligned people, and he basically underperformed in every race. But on the bright side, Brian Kemp is really doing well in the polls against Abrams, and he is definitely going to win that one. I wouldn't even say by a lean margin, with the polls now I would say likely. But since Georgia is just rampaging so fast to the left, I'm going to keep it as lean for now. Maybe I'll change it before the election, but I have been overconfident in the Republican chances in Georgia before, so lean for now. Okay, what's next? I think we'll go to Pennsylvania. I know Pennsylvania is the place where you have Doug Mastriano, the GOP candidate, who is sort of a controversial figure. But I think many will ask themselves the question before the election, why? What is so controversial behind him? With the latest poll from Suffolk University, he is at 40% to Shapiro's 44%, and he actually performed a lot better than Oz did in the same poll. So that sort of surprised me. So I'm actually going to make that toss-up now instead of putting it as lean D. And I will say that the more focus on the economy, the better chance he has. The more focus on January 6th and election stuff, the better chance for Shapiro. Okay, I think we'll take a look at New England now and go to the state of Maine. This is between Paul LePage, former governor, and Janet Mills, the current governor. So it's either lean D, but RCP and Fox News actually has it as toss-up. And that's with good reason. The polls are very close. Okay, so she's up by 3.5. Ranked choice voting, I don't think that is for the governorship yet. And the latest poll from May, which is by the way a Democratic pollster, has Mills up by 5. More remarkably, it only has LePage down. He is at 46, which is, well, quite well, and higher than Mills is on several of her own polls. So I definitely think that this one, with momentum, with the anti-Biden energy, could go either way. I'm also going to make it a toss-up right now. Going on to the state of Connecticut. Yeah, so this is between Bob Stefanowski and Ned Lamont. The latest poll has Stefanowski down by 8, but if you look at the last election, he ended up losing by, 3 points. 3 points in a Democratic wave year. And yes, I mean, the margin for the Democrat was bigger than in 2014 and in 2010, where it was almost a Republican win. But yeah, if you compare it to 2018, I definitely think that Stefanowski can win, especially with the energy factor on his side. Okay, so this poll is Democratic. Yeah, Stefanowski, I mean, I'm not going to say that I think the national environment is going to have the biggest effect in Connecticut, because, well, it has proved before that Connecticut can sort of be immune to midterm waves if we look at the 2018 election. But still, I'm going to put it as tilt Republican. I know. No polls to back it up. All polls show Lamont ahead, but I might change this later. It's June, it's still early. Okay, next state. Let's go out west to New Mexico. This one is exciting. Mark Ronchetti was the Senate nominee who outperformed everyone's expectations. He outperformed Trump by like 4 points, which is just like Cory Gardner in Colorado. And he won the primary, I think, without much trouble. So RCP has it as toss-up, otherwise it's mostly a lean D, but she is only leading. Grisham is only up by 3.5 in the aggregate, and this one poll here, which was sponsored by Ronchetti, yes, it has Ronchetti up by 1. But the other polls, the Democratic polls, for example, only has Grisham up by very small margins. 3 points, 1 point, 4 points. So right now I actually give Ronchetti the benefit of the doubt. I think that he is going to win in the state of New Mexico, which would be a major upset, but you know, oil is a big thing, COVID is a big thing, and the environment is going to have a lot of say as well. Let's continue to be out west, and we go to the state of Nevada. Joe Lombardo versus Steve Sisolak. Joe Lombardo did very well in the primary, he has done very well in the polls, the general election polls. The latest one has him up by 1 point to Sisolak, and let's see, okay, so it's sponsored by Laxalt, but I don't think that is one is yet applied in the Senate race. Regardless, this one could go either way. I think that it is going to be a bit favorable to the Republicans because of the national environment, because of the turn that the Democratic Party in Nevada has taken. It's not going to end very well for them. And the last state is Oregon. This one is a sleeper flip. Okay, so it's 3 candidates. The Democrat, the Republican, and an independent. Now, of course, the Democrat is some sort of pan-transsexual of the feminist movement, or whatever, and the independent is just some crazy woman. But she is cited as sort of a moderate, and yeah, I don't know. Even though she's a former Democrat, she could definitely also take votes from the Republicans. And we do not have a lot of polls. This one, which was a Republican, has Drayson, the Republican candidate, at 30, and winning with that. So the better Betsy Johnson does, the better it would be for the Republican overall. But this is a 3-way race, and I have no clue how it's going to turn. So I'm going to put Oregon as a toss-up, and there you have it. With the 3 toss-ups, Republicans at 31, Democrats at 16, and that is the current state of the 2022 governor's elections. Anyways, I hope you found this interesting. If you did, please like, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.